In our culture today, men are really not supposed to express any feelings for the most part. I mean, happiness or anger, maybe some laughter, things like that. Those are to be expected. But any feelings of, hey, when someone says this, it bothers me, or when they do this, it bothers me, or this hurts me, or sadness or crying, anything like that, men aren't really supposed to feel those emotions, which is normal, right? How about we dig into this one together? Stay tuned.
I'm the CEO, it's Mega Chop, you already know.
So in our culture, men need to be strong. They need to be a rock. They need to be that individual that doesn't show weakness of emotion, sadness. They shouldn't express that they have feelings that could be hurt. Otherwise, they're really looked upon as weak or not manly. And in a way, they get rejected for not being manly or not being strong or not being tough, not being man enough. And so they wind up suppressing any of these feelings and they don't experience them or learn about them. And really, from a young age on, this hinders men's emotional development. This is a deep topic and it impacts our entire nation, if not even beyond that, into other parts of the world that handle men in the same way. So I want to make sure that you know that you have a resource in me. I'm more than happy to talk about this. And I'm actually live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday evenings over on Twitch. If you want to come over and talk more about this, I would love to at twitch.tv/megachopceo. Okay, so I said that if we don't allow men to properly feel and express emotions, that it stunts their emotional growth. And that comes from, in childhood, this culture being known, and a lot of it comes from unsaids. There's a lot of ways that we handle things, or we see it in media or movies or TV. And this isn't just another video to pick apart the media and TVs and the things that we watch, but if you pay close attention, boys as they grow up to be men are supposed to man up. They're supposed to suck it up, toughen up. Which part of that messaging is good. We do have to develop a thick skin to be able to survive in this world and not be sensitive to a point where everything bothers us. However, it's not healthy to a point where we act as though men are supposed to be autonomous robots that don't have feelings and shouldn't express them if they do, because they will be demasculinized. Is that a word? I don't. It is now. Go with it. Don't look it up. If it is a word, give me a thumbs up in the comments, because, man, that was impressive. All right, moving along. As boys grow up to be men and they go through life and they should be experiencing different emotions, different feelings, they should be talking about these things, they should be trying to explore and figure out what this is, just like you would anything else. They don't. They suppress it, because who wants to be looked at as a sissy or a wuss when they're a boy? That's like the worst thing that you could be called. You want to be tough and strong. So they grow up trying to be tough and strong, and as they go through difficult challenges and they feel something that they think would come across as a feeling and make them look weak, they suppress it. What happens when they suppress it? Well, they don't learn what that emotion is. We should be learning these emotions as we go through life, from moment to moment, experience to experience. And when we suppress that, we suppress the learning. And that causes us, like we've mentioned in prior videos talking about depression and anxiety, when we have a broken learning system, we repeat that. So we broke this learning by suppressing our feelings, and now every time we come across a scenario that would bring up whatever that healthy feeling is, we automatically suppress it and we go with, nope, I don't have feelings. At least not around that. And this causes an unhealthy cycle because men wind up having a significant less amount of emotions as they grow than they should. And so they really have, say, happiness and anger, laughter, very basic emotions, your common basic emotions, some sadness, not extreme sadness. They certainly don't cry. And so when they get into teenage years and adulthood, a lot of times when they reach this point where they should be experiencing a healthy emotion, it hits a broke point where they don't know how to express it. And many times for men, this is going to come out in one of two primary ways, and that's either through anger or they'll shut down. Both are incredibly unhealthy. And the anger will come out in a verbal outburst, sometimes worst case scenario, a physical outburst. The consequences of this are very obvious. A verbal outburst, they could wind up verbally abusing friends or family, anybody that's around them, because they don't know how to properly express the emotion. Or if it goes to physical, this could turn into an altercation of sorts, a fight, because they don't know how to express that emotion. And again, these aren't excuses for men to fight, to express anger, to shut down. This is just the reality of how they process it. And my whole goal and hope with this video is that we start creating more open dialogue about it. We get to the root of what's causing it for each and every man, and we help them build a healthy set of emotions. So the other aspect is shutting down, withdrawing, pulling back, which is unhealthy because then they don't talk. And this can go a couple ways. Again, it could end up resulting in blowing up in anger because they've withdrawn and pulled back and held so much in that they just explode, or they just keep retracting and retracting and retracting, and they get to this loneliness, this solemnness, and they've just withdrawn from all different interactions, and they become a shell of who they should have been. Both paths that we look at absolutely can lead to depression and anxiety in men, and very frequently do, because they're not dealing with their emotions, and it just continues to stack year after year after year. Okay, Chop, we get it. There's a problem with how men deal with their emotions or don't deal with them. What the heck do we do about it? This is where it's important for men to be self-aware and recognize when they get into a situation that's starting to trigger these reactions that aren't healthy. And it's even more important to have friends or family, loved ones that are around you, around them, to help in those situations too, and raise it to our awareness as we walk through that journey and we start to go in these unhealthy paths, to have someone that says, hey, I don't know if you know this, but you're getting really angry, and I don't think you really want to. I don't think you mean to. Can you help me understand why you're so upset? What happened? What did you go through? What are you experiencing? Meet them with understanding, because that's what they need. They need help to walk the journey and be pulled out. It's very difficult for men to be exposed, to be vulnerable. It's incredibly difficult. I wind up erring on the side of being more in tuned with my feelings on the man spectrum, if you will, and I struggle with it. So it's definitely something that we need to partner together with to help men overcome. And it's recognizing it in the moments when it's happening, trying to catch it as close to that trigger as possible. Again, this is a concept that we talked about in previous videos around depression and anxiety, is how do we retrain this? So we got wired this way, but fortunately that doesn't mean it's permanent. If we want to if we want to make a change, if we want to do this differently, we can. We just need to rewire. And that's going to take catching it as close to that trigger as possible, whatever it is, and recognizing it and starting to explore different feelings and trying to narrow down what this is. To help out, I've included in the links below a page that goes through a ton of different emotions. It's insane the amount of emotions that we have as humans. They're incredibly similar in many ways, but incredibly different in other ways. What we need to do is, if you get to this point and you're like, I don't know what I'm experiencing, I don't know what I'm feeling, do an internet search and try to describe it. Try to pinpoint what it is. If it's similar to a different emotion, but you're like, no, it's not that, put that in there in search. It's a great way to do it. The other way is to have friends and family around us, and especially if you have someone that's really good with their emotions, with their feelings, at expressing them. Many times, women are ahead of men with being able to express their feelings and emotions, because culturally it's more acceptable for them to be expressive and experience these things and go through these. So they are a great source to lean on, to be like, hey, this is the thought that's going through my head because of this. Can you help me understand how you feel that, what that looks like, what that sounds like to you? And help you explore what those feelings are. But men, this is going to take stepping into not even just an uncomfortable zone, a wildly uncomfortable place. And it's okay. It's okay to do that. If you need someone to reach out to first that you know isn't going to shame you or criticize you, hit me up. There are so many ways to reach me. They're in all the links below. I'm more than happy to be a personal resource to help walk you through this, because I've had to do it myself, and it was very uncomfortable and very difficult, but it's possible. And together we can help walk each other to a healthier balance, to a healthier emotional state. And in turn, all of our relationships are going to be in a much healthier state, whether it's with significant others or siblings or parents. If we can get a better handle on what our emotions are, what we're feeling, when we're feeling, we can communicate those in a way that lead to positive interactions and prevent us from going into toxic paths with one another. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I am 100% here for you. Please feel free to reach out to me. You can even chat with me live. We talk about a lot of these topics while I'm live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday evenings on Twitch at twitch.tv/megachopceo. While you're here, don't miss out on more content like this. Slap the subscribe, the like, and smash the bell for notifications, and I look forward to seeing you next time.